CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans face off with Derrick Henry and the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore at M&T Bank Stadium. Need to start with Baltimore because this team has had as disappointing a start as anybody. Houston Texans fans will not feel sorry for them. It's gone rough for them. But for Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, as the recording of this video, his status is fully uncertain for this game. He had that hamstring injury, and it's not just him. They had the terrible news that Madubike will miss the rest of the season. Marlon Humphrey, their star corner, will be missing a couple of weeks with a calf injury, and Roquan Smith with a grade 2 hamstring injury will be missing a few weeks. This is very brutal for a team that is facing a good Houston Texans opponent. This is a Houston team that has very high aspirations. They were expecting to make that leap, make the AFC Championship game this season, and after the 1-3 start, things were starting to look kind of negative. But after the Indianapolis Colts lose, after they were able to pick up a win this week in that dominant fashion against the Titans, starting to look up for Houston, and they're coming into this game against Baltimore with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder. Now for Baltimore, with your quarterback, I don't even know if he's playing in this game, and I'm making a preview video for it. I have to be honest, in the way that their defense has played and the guys that they will be missing on the defensive side of the ball, it does not bode well for them, especially with Houston. I know it's Tennessee, but they were starting to figure something out offensively in that game. I mean, whenever you shut out an opponent, you know that the defense is playing well, but CJ Stroud looked a lot more like himself. 22 of 28 passing, 230 yards on the day, and they had a little bit more of success on the ground. They stuck with it a little bit more here. Woody Marks and Nick Chubb, if you're a Baltimore fan, you haven't been aware of Joe Mixon, he probably won't even play this season. We got an update from D'Amico Ryans that did not at all sound good, but Woody Marks and Nick Chubb, running back by committee, and these guys are moving the football well enough. They are a little bit of that thunder to lightning. Woody Marks of USC, he's got a bit more burst to him. Nick Chubb, not that he's not explosive. Look, the guy squats 750 pounds. He's a bit more of the bruiser at this day and age, this stage of his career. But offensively, my question mark for Houston before this matchup, before the injuries last week was, all right, Nico Collins will be matched up with Humphrey, but who's the number 2 on this team? They took Noel out of Iowa State. They took Higgins out of Iowa State. The expectation, somebody can develop into the number 2, and that once Tank Della's back, this could be the best wide receiver core in football. That's part of what my expectation was. That has not panned out at all. These wide receivers are not separating. Higgins is not really a factor in this offense. Neither is Noel. He's been good at returning, but they have not at all carved out premier, not even close premier, even real impactful roles in this offense. But in this game against a Baltimore team that has mightily struggled on the defensive side of the ball, in the sense of they are last in the league in points allowed, 31st in yards allowed. This is a perfect game for Houston to get right everywhere. We're talking everywhere. Running the football, a chance to be able to lean on them. Saw what the Detroit Lions were able to do against Baltimore a few weeks ago. And this week, I'm expecting a little bit more of that. Get to 35 carries. Give Nick Chubb 15 carries. Give Woody Marks 15 carries. Lean on the ground. CJ Stroud is always good for scrambling for maybe a first down or 2 every game. But I got to see someone come out there and establish themselves in this offense. We know that Nico Collins is a top 8 wide receiver in the league. 6'5", 215, 20. Like, this guy's a monster who can bring it out to be able to be that second target that Stroud can go to and effectively find someone else on third down. I would expect that Baltimore, third down, I'm going to cloud and cover Nico Collins, almost a double team of him, to force Stroud to go somewhere else. Take his first read in the progression away from him so that you have to go to Dalton Schultz. It's got to be to Higgins or Christian Kirk. So there's a lot of guys on this offense except for him. They got to find a way to get the football to someone else. Now, for the Houston Texans defense, and again, why I have a lot of confidence in this game, whether or not Lamar Jackson plays or not, is because this might be the best defense in the National Football League with the way that they have played so far on the year. Fifth in yards. They just have an ability to stop the run, and their secondary is so good with Lassiter and Stingley. They can line up on you. Both guys are good in coverage, whether it be man or zone. They're balanced in doing that. D'Amico is great at being able to mix that up, and they get pressure on you. They can get pressure with four darn players. That's one of the most dangerous features of any team, and going into the season, why I had this team frankly matched up with the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship game. That was my prediction going into the season, AFC Championship game. Boy, do I need to rip that up now. That does not look good. But first in the league in points for Houston going up against that Baltimore offense. They're not just first in the league. They are first in the league by 4 entire points. That is kind of unheard of. Even we've only played 4 games that they have allowed only 13 points a game through 4 weeks. That is spectacular. The Lamar Jackson offense and the dynamic ability with him and Derrick Henry and the power that they bring to it, that's a piece of this offense that needs to stay there. Derrick Henry in this game, whether or not Lamar is playing, he needs to get the football 30 touches. He needs to get 30 touches in this game, pound the football, find a way. If it's not there, still, you have to get him the football, and as well as mix in Zay Flowers and getting him the football behind the line of scrimmage in the screen game, getting him the ball in sweeps and reverses, different touches for Zay Flowers, just getting the football into his hands more, because when he does get the ball in his hands, he's one of the most dynamic players in the National Football League. I mean, that's why you took him in the first round out of Boston College, not because he's 6'3", 220, but because he is a burner. He has that short area quickness to be able to separate from players and the ability to get away from guys, creating his own space so that he has a large amount of rack potential. So as far as all of this is breaking down so far, I'm concerned about Baltimore in a number of ways. Mainly, it boils down to, in this one, a bit of the line of scrimmage battle, but not just that. It is who will turn the football over in moments. Neither of these teams have been taking the ball away at an inordinate clip. Frankly, Lamar Jackson with the 130 rating and his lack of turnovers, he's on like a career pace. He's on an MVP type trajectory despite the 1-3 record. No one's ever had a 130 rating. That would be absolutely absurd. But who will be able to take the football away? I have a feeling that the Houston Texans can do that in this game. The way that it sets up for them is that they can play with a bunch of confidence. Houston doesn't care if this game is 34-31 or if this game is 13-10. They are built to win games in different manners. Their style has already shown that you don't have to be scoring a whole bunch of points. Like, they should have been able to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They just let Baker Mayfield drive the length of the field on them in that game. It's surprising that they are both 1-3, but when you break it down and you see how much the Houston Texans offense has struggled, that they're 25th in yards, 29th in points, it starts to make a whole lot more sense why that these numbers stack up the way that they do, why that they are 1-3. You've got the worst offense and worst defense in football in Baltimore currently. That's going to be worse. Don't think that there's some sort of logic here that we're going to lose some of our key players and that means we're going to be better. That's not at all. That's not at all how it works. It's not the opposite. We're not talking about converse logic. That won't be happening. The Houston Texans should look to have a big day on the ground and through the air with those injuries in the secondary. I've got the Houston Texans pulling a win in this one. They are currently, as of the recording of this, 3.5-point favorites. I've got them winning this 27-24, getting a big road win and moving to 2-3 on this season. That would be nice for them to get a win against Baltimore despite the record, beating a team that is physical like the Ravens. We use that word physical so often. That's not at all been the case for this team as a defense. It seems like teams have just been able to move the ball at will against them, that there's just been a lack of that physicality, a lack of the ability to throw that first punch with any weight behind it as a defensive line getting pressure on the quarterback. And what's been a little bit concerning is that's not at all been just solely on Madubike. I mean, against the Buffalo Bills, this team was not able to do a whole lot to stop Josh Allen, get him off of the field. It's tough to see one of the most talented teams in football with probably the best quarterback, him, Josh Allen, you'd have to say, are the best two quarterbacks in the NFL, is struggling with all of this. But look, nobody is feeling sorry for you. It is up to you to pick yourself up off of the mat and get back out there. I'm talking about Baltimore losing this. Go out there and prove me wrong as a defense. Go stack up. Find a way to double Nico Collins and win your one-on-ones with Higgins and Noel, with Christian Kirk, limiting Dalton Schultz to stop the run as a unit. Go out there and do that and prove us wrong and show that you can win this game whether or not Lamar is on the field. And for Houston, they cannot lose this game. They have to take advantage. If they cannot get the offense going, like score more than 23 points against that Baltimore defense the way they've played, and with the injuries, this is a Houston team that frankly will not have much of a future the rest of the season doing any damage in the AFC. That offense will just be too broken, in my opinion, if they're not able to put something together in that sense. They just got rid of Cam Robinson, and they said, all right, Ariante Ursuri, you're our starting left tackle now. We're riding with the rookie. Unbelievable. So this is a big game. This is one of those swing hinge games that can determine Baltimore, if they're finding a way to be tough enough to win, or the Houston Texans, can they find a way, all right, get the season started here, back-to-back wins, and start mowing forward and get ready for a couple of tough stretches there. They got Seattle, San Francisco, Denver, and the Jags. We're talking about a couple 3-1, 3-1, 2-2, 3-1 coming up. So this is one of those games they cannot afford to lose. In Baltimore, already they are in a tough spot. So let me know down below in the comments who you think comes out with the win in this game. Am I wrong and Baltimore will somehow figure it out as a defense, or do you ride with me and take Houston in this game? I appreciate you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe for more Blitz with Blender content in the future. Again, I'm Josh Blender. I make NFL and college videos every day because it's my favorite thing to do. I watch all of these games, and we just have to tell you what the eyeballs tell us and what they will tell us what will be happening in the future with some of these matchups. I'm wrong all the time. I'm right a good amount of the time too. Let's see what happens in this one. Houston with the win, and please come back for more. So I appreciate you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Best player in college football. That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blender, hi everybody, I'm Josh Blender. To the 40, 35, 30, Espinosa to the 20.